Romans 12, verses 1 and 2 from the New Living Translation. And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all he has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship him. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. So I looked at verse 1, and it says, and so, or in the New King James Version, therefore, which made me go back up to the previous verses in chapter 11, verses 30 through 32, in which Paul is talking to the Roman church or the saints in Rome about God's mercy being directed toward them. And because of God's mercy directed toward them, their response ought to be that they present their bodies a living, holy, acceptable sacrifice. So verse 2 then of Romans 12 becomes the blueprint for how to present your body a living, holy, and acceptable sacrifice to God. Paul tells us that the way how is to not be conformed to the customs or behaviors of this world. But he goes on and adds another layer and says that we have to let God transform us by changing the way we think or by giving us a renewed mind. We'll be transformed when we have a renewed mind. So that made me consider, what does the word mind mean, both in terms of the Hebrew and the Greek? So in the Hebrew, the words are lib or libab, and they're the most frequently used, and they metaphorically refer to your inner person. This is where your mind, your understanding, and your human attitude resides. The word in English is translated heart, but it's not referring to the human organ. Similarly, in the Greek, the equivalent to libab or lib is cardia. And again, that refers to the center of our human will, our mind, emotions, soul, or spirit. Now, the Greek word used in Romans 12, verse 2 is nous. So it has the same meaning as cardia, which has the same meaning as lib and labab in the Greek or in the Hebrew. Nous means that it is the seat of our innermost being. This is where our reasoning, our understanding, our emotions, and our will are. It's our true self. So if we want to change our behaviors, we want to change our customs, our ways of doing things, we first have to have a transformed mind. And that transformation comes from God by way of his Holy Spirit. When we transform the way we think, we transform the way we act. When our hearts are transformed, our behaviors are transformed.